Hi, welcome back to the Rebel Show. I'm Bree Mesquit, and today is a super special episode. But before I introduce my special guest, I have to remind you guys, please subscribe. 98% of you that are watching the show are not subscribed. So if you can do that first, then we'll get into it. I would really, really appreciate it.
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan?
All right, you guys, today I have Amber with me. Amber is the owner and founder of the Facial Lounge in Corona Del Mar. I believe you have 2 locations now. We'll go over that. But she gave me my first job as a baby SD, which was 13 years ago. Can you believe that? So welcome, Amber. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm so honored to be here. Are you kidding me? I'm so proud of you.
You were the first one I thought of. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get Amber on. So thank you for being here. So first, I want to maybe go over and just share a little bit of your, background and your story a little bit, and then I have some questions for you. But where'd you get started? How long have you been an esthetician? All those things.
So I've been an esthetician since 2000, so 24 years.
Oh my goodness.
I got started, I had severe acne, and so I ended up getting facials from Dr. Fulton, who owns Vivant, who made benzoyl peroxide and one of the co-founders for Retin-A.
Wow.
And I was a case study for an acne. He did a lot of acne studies. So I was kind of behind the scenes on acne. I make a joke, he never hired me, I never left. I was like obsessed. But I also found out that he did animal testing and things that I didn't agree with. And I was also had a job at Mother's Market, which was all natural, but was breaking me out.
I didn't know that. Which location?
Yeah, Coast 225 East 17th Street, the original Mother's Market.
That's crazy.
And so, it's so fun. So I was working there, and I was a bad girl, and I was getting in trouble because I was in body care all the time. And Pablo, my manager, would scream, Amber, to the front all day long. If I was on the shift, you heard my name about 70 times. I was constantly in trouble. The fact that they'd say when she's working and she's in body care, the sales are up. Because I was talking to everyone, what are you getting? And if there was a return, I was at register 1, Nosy Nelly, and I wanted to know why it was returned, what happened. And this is before computers, there was no systems. So when the buyers were there, and I would say, we had 17 of those returned, and we had 4 of those, and that gave someone a rash. So every time they were ordering, they go, bring that bad girl in. I go, what returns? I go, okay, this returned, this happened. So I was a person who accidentally found a really cool job at Mother's, but I was really frustrated because I had such bad acne and nothing worked. And I was going to get Vivant into Mother's, which I was so excited. I was so proud of myself. And he's right down the street. It was perfect. And they saw the ingredients and they said, Amber, this is like a no-no at Mother's. Everything is bad. And I didn't understand. That's how I learned, wow, I can't believe the ingredients that they're using are so bad. And animal testing. Mother's was very vegan in the beginning. All the board members were vegan. Mother's only sold turkey during Thanksgiving at the time. They had very strict rules. So I got to learn the ethical side of skincare. And that's a long answer, but that's how it started.
No, that's really, really cool. I don't know if I knew that. I don't think I knew that. So this was pre getting your aesthetics license.
Correct.
Okay, so then what made you decide to go to school and get your license?
Dr. Fulton said, you can go to esthetician school. I thought I was going to be a dermatologist at 16.
Okay.
I just knew I was going to be. And then he told me how much schooling was involved and what was all the details and how you have to remove warts and all the diseases and skin diseases. I was like, I just want to pop pimples. He's like, you need to be an esthetician. And I remember a what? An esthetician. And I remember I was 16. And I remember how do you spell that? How do you, because they're again, this is.
I feel like I still struggle sometimes.
This is, I can't spell it. They had a gun to my head. Sorry, no, sorry, you guys.
We'll just go Esty. E-S-T-Y.
That's all I write. That's all I write. I'm not. So he goes, you can go to Golden West and go apply to be an esthetician. Well, at the time, this is in the 90s, they had a 2-year wait list.
Oh, wow.
So I was 16, so I put myself on the wait list. And then they told me you have to wait till you're 18 to get on the wait list.
Get on the wait list?
Yeah, so I forgot what I did, but I was constantly at Golden West being a sneaky snake trying to get in the school. I ended up getting in, and the school was so full that they knew they overfilled the class. They knew that there were some kids going to get people drop out.
Yeah.
Well, after 2 weeks, no one dropped out. No one dropped. It was a thing, right? And they said, okay, we're going to have to pull a hat, and 5 people out of this class have to transfer to Fullerton. And I was one of them. And I was so mad. But Fullerton had a sister school, which I didn't know about, which was amazing, smaller. So, and it's still around. It's a great program. So I ended up going there, and my teacher, her name was Mrs. Tomaselli, was a dermaplaning expert. She worked for a company called Biomedics, doesn't exist anymore, which was papaya facials. That was amazing. They're, I wish if I can bring one line back, that mask.
That would be it.
It doesn't. I'm asking for someone if they had a jar so I can I can't even Google it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even
It's not on eBay or.
Oh, if you ever find one, if anyone finds one, I want that.
I'm gonna be on a mission.
It's just jelly mask. It was so good. So I ended up working with Zia, which made something similar, and she also is out of business now, but that was out of San Francisco. But so it was really hard to find skincare. Like it wasn't like. It's so easy now. We have Amazon. I would meet people truly for Biomedic. I would met people at Alley. It was like a drug deal. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like because I could only come at certain times. Now I'm a single mom, so I get it. But I remember one lady could only get it to me at night when her kids were asleep, and she lived in some weird area, and I had to pick it up from her. But she got it from an acupuncturist. It was so funny how I got skincare. But that line was actually more medical, but it was natural, and it was like the first line that ever was like clean. And medical, and had like proof that it worked. So that's really how Facial Lounge came to life, is like I was trying to find skincare and things that worked. And I always thought I'd be more in skincare than I was facials, because that was like really my passion. And then when I got to pop pimples all day, I'm like, you get paid for this?
Right?
Like
I still pinch myself. Well, now I'm not popping pimples as much.
Waxing's
but
still that satisfying.
Oh my gosh, it's the best.
Ingrowns is my favorite.
You either love it or you hate it.
I could literally, ingrowns, and like, I know it sounds TMI, but like the blackheady kind of.
Oh yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
Oh, it's heaven. I get it.
Okay, so then when did you decide to open up Facial Lounge? But it originally was, what was it?
Shape Up Day
Shape
Spa.
Up Day Spa. So that's when I started, was Shape
That's
Up Day
how
Spa.
OG you are, yeah.
Before like the remodel too.
Yeah.
Remember
Oh.
Laura's like little nook
Yes,
with her hair.
Laura.
Quick interruption to the show. I wanted to make sure that you are aware of my free 6-week hard waxing 101 course that I have put out for waxers to gain confidence in the treatment room, no matter where it is in your waxing career that you are at. You will also receive a certificate of completion once you complete the course. So visit us online, lashwaxoc.com, and you will click the training tab. Now back to the show. Oh my gosh. So yeah, kind of take us from when you went to school, graduated. Did you have a job before starting the
Not
Day Spa?
really.
Okay.
I mean, I worked at Nordstrom's, and I worked at Bloomingdale's and Clinique.
Okay.
And I got fired for selling Vivant. That's a real story. I was constantly in trouble.
Doesn't
and I'm like,
surprise me.
yeah, got fired. But people are coming. I just want to help them. So I write down, okay, you can get the Moisture Surge mask. That was Clinique's mask. But don't get this. Don't. I mean, dramatically different lotion has lanolin, like the worst thing for acne. So I tell people, don't buy this moisturizer. Go down the street to 17th Street, buy this moisturizer, and go to Mother's and buy these house things. I would write out a curated thing for people to do. And I had like fans at Clinique, you know, it was so fun. So people would come in and they go, I want that Amber girl. And they found out what I was doing. And I was sending people to all these places and still selling the makeup. Clinique's makeup at the time was great for acne. And they had a few products that was good. Their like toner was but that's how I learned like their cleansers were really acidic and their toners were really alkaline. It really hurt the skin. And I remember finding out, and I was trying to educate Clinique on.
They probably didn't
and
take that very well.
This is what got me fired. And I was like, you guys need to like literally, it's interesting because fast forward, they're not doing what they used to do. That was like their main thing. And we know that's not good for the skin, but it's fun to watch them. And I was like, I was there telling you in the beginning. I actually got in fights with some labs at Gar Labs once for, they had all the chemical sunscreens and they wouldn't use zinc oxide. And Mother's was just only zinc and titanium oxide. And I was like, why? And I remember arguing with them, and the company I was with, the skincare company, was really upset. And I was like, now those ingredients are getting banned. There's lawsuits over them. And 20 years later, I still want to call Michael and go, do you remember?
Okay.
Yeah, like
that
I was right.
So
like
funny.
I want to tell Michael and Mina I was right.
I have a Michael too.
Yeah.
He owned the European Wax Center, and I was telling, I don't know if I should be saying this. I think it's fine. They don't own the center anymore. But yep, I had a Michael too. I was telling him all the things that I saw
And
that
now
could
they
be
do it.
improved. Then they started doing it after they fired me. So
And
that's
it's funny when and this is something I'm going to do a podcast, and one of the questions is, would you want a regular job? Like that was one of the questions. You ever think like it would just be easier to have a 9 to 5? That was a question to me.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't, because I'd want to go into business and fix it. And I realized the business owners won't listen to me. And I would love it. And it makes me listen.
Yeah.
Because when I know people are seeing things that I don't have to be right. And once I learned to check my ego, which is hard, because when you worked for me, I wasn't in that place. I was so unaware. I didn't understand culture. I didn't understand people. I just didn't know. I just understood customer service and being busy, and like I didn't know what I was doing. So,
but you did have natural like sales skills. Like you can sell retail, but it's because you lead with honesty and what people really actually need. And that was one of the things, like when I was at European Wax Center, everyone's like, how do you have the top retail sales? Because I'm honest. I'm never going to recommend something that people don't need. And you've had that from the very beginning. I've always like admired that. First of all, you're like skincare queen. And
I love it.
Yes, you can tell. And that's what I think people are really drawn to, is like they can feel the passion behind it and know that you're never going to steer them in the wrong direction.
True.
Too.
The trust is so important with the customer, but I didn't understand like my team. I didn't think
the back end operations.
I didn't.
Yeah.
It was so unaware. And I took this class called Driven Leadership, which you would.
Yeah,
you
I'll
would.
have to look that up.
I can't
Driven
even imagine.
Leadership.
It's
Okay.
amazing. And there's a class called Bold, and it's 3 days out in the mountains, and it's like the best thing for entrepreneurs. There's a couple classes I want to take. This is by far. I always wish I could have that like high that it gave me. I never found it again. But it was like this really. You have to really want it. Like you have to want to be the best version. I was there. Like I really wanted to be a better version of myself. My mom took it. I saw a difference in her. My dad took it. And I was like, he was already perfect, and it was like amazing what came out of it. And believe it or not, my soon-to-be ex-husband took it because my parents paid for me to go as a gift, and we were in the middle of a divorce, and he wouldn't let me go, and he went. Then he came back and goes, oh my God, you need to go. So as in the middle of a divorce, he actually watched the kids so I can go. My kids were so super little, and I went. But what it did was, I remember one of the things they're like, you have to go back and ask your team, and Lindsay,
OG.
Yeah, OG Lindsay.
Shout
She's
out
still
Lindsay.
there. We love you, Lindsay.
Yes.
I remember pulling her aside and going, is there anything that, and Lindsay, Lindsay, she doesn't ever complain.
No.
Never. And I said, I have the best, no one complains. They just didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing. And I go, is there anything you want to change or anything that I could work on or be better? And I remember leaning against the bed. I remember playing with the bed and going, well, and she just had the nicest list. And I went,
She had a list. She had a list.
Oh, shit. I thought we were going to say no.
Yeah, no.
I was like, we need to
great.
do lunch. Like, I had no idea. And that's how that actually came. And I was like, I want to know what it is. But as a business owner, you have to be in that place. You have to realize, like, I'm not doing it wrong. I'm trying to figure out how to do it right.
Yeah.
And other people might see it that I don't. And if I don't stop and ask the questions from my team and customers, everyone kind of sees something. And Facial Lounge isn't perfect. There's so many things I want to fix. But my gosh, like, the girls care. Like, if you walk into a place, like, there's heart.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that's like 90% of it. I have made the mistake of hiring estheticians who were amazing on paper, but the heart wasn't there. And it was like and the customers can feel it. So I'm like, I'd rather estheticians who are amazing, but have the heart, and then I put into them.
Yes.
And then the magic happens.
Train them up.
And sometimes the girls, when they're newer, maybe they don't have all the little things down, but you're taken care of. A customer doesn't care that the massage wasn't this whatever.
It's so true.
It's the heart was there, and they were shown good products, and they have a plan, and that's the place. And we have a few new girls. I mean, right out the bat, their training's better too. That helps. But they're just so good in connecting with the client. But it's they're who they are. They would do this for free.
Yeah,
like that's the place
exactly.
when you're an
That passion
esthetician,
behind
and
it.
like you said, for waxing, like it's like I get paid for this.
I know.
Pinch myself.
It's insane, right? It's insane. Okay, so day spa, Shape Up Day Spa, and then going into Facial Lounge. So how did like Facial Lounge come about, and the move, and now multiple locations?
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through that, and what do you think was like the main factor of the growth and success of Facial Lounge?
Well, Shape Up Day Spa, my parents owned the health club Shape Up, which was really cool. And I always felt like I realized just having that name, I couldn't really grow. And I just wanted, and people couldn't really, it was just awkward. So I wanted my own thing. And it was supposed to be facial spot.
Okay.
And I was going to have skincare with polka dots. And I was like, all excited. I still have it written out. I had a whole, and my skincare was spots and dots. And me and my grandma had so much fun. And my friend Kara Weichman, her husband's actually a Dr. Hogue for children. I lean on them all the time for advice. because we work with teenagers a lot. They're like really good in like teenage. He owns a clinic. Anyways, she goes, I don't want spots. I don't want spots. I want a lounge.
Ooh, yes.
And I go, oh, and she goes, facial lounge. I don't want a spot.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get rid of my spots.
I
and
like
I go,
that.
I still like facial spot, but for something different. But anyways, like a little acne clinic would be so cute.
Yeah, that would be cute.
And that was just, I was mostly focusing on acne then. She goes, lounge is for everybody. Everyone wants to feel relaxed. So I, last minute, after doing all this stuff, I go facial lounge, and I got someone to do a quick, again, this is so long ago. It was hard. There was no like Fiverr. There's no, like, I forgot. I just like ask a friend of friend. Someone made a quick.
You're so resourceful.
I am resourceful.
You are the most resourceful person I know.
Definitely that day I was like, this worked out. So I got the weird little logo and went with it. Yeah, and then I fixed it later.
So has it changed? Okay,
yeah. No, I fixed it later. I fixed it. Believe it or not, there is a company out there that has a very similar name to ours, and I'm very flattered. This is not a bad thing, but their logo looked exactly like mine.
Yeah.
Their everything looked just like mine. And I went, we're so similar. And we have similar names, similar colors, everything. And I decided to change my logo. So I changed my whole look. So I no longer use turquoise. And I just wanted to be my own thing. We've also, someone trademarked my name. We just won the trademark back. That was really scary. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That cost me a fortune. So we have, again, trademark your, I thought I trademarked it. I didn't trademark for brick and mortars. So I make a joke. I'm going to write a book called What Not to Do.
Yeah.
Because
you should.
Just don't know.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't
know. You
know.
don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I thought I did it all right. And I thought I trademarked. I really did. I paid someone for it. And I don't know what happened. I gave someone money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
And
I
didn't.
Done
we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't follow up. I didn't know I didn't know how to.
Yeah.
Also, the internet, like nowadays, I feel like you can do a lot more research.
So much more
there's so much more information.
Yeah.
You got to picture trying to run a business without the internet is basically how it was. And same with you.
Yeah.
There wasn't like,
and
I don't
it
even
was
think.
kind of before the social media
Social
craze,
media,
too.
yeah. That's like, and it was hard to get clients. Like I had a lot of celebrity clients. I had a lot of people.
Yes.
My grandma I remember I was in one of the magazines and it said, I get facials from Amber in Newport. That's all it said. And my grandma ripped it out. She was so proud. I still have the article somewhere. And that's all it was. And it was one of the housewives. It was very nice. But that didn't get me not one client, right? So it's like you could be in a magazine or no one knew Amber in Newport, like that, no company name.
Yeah.
No, so it's like, and they would say, I gave you a shout out. I'd be like, thank you. And then I see the article. I'm like, and now what? Now people who knew me were excited.
Yeah,
so it does give a little buzz.
Yeah.
But social media changed the game for me.
Yeah.
Like I remember the owner, her name is Jessica. She owns a shop in Laguna, which is like the coolest store. Came in one day and she was just starting the shop. She goes, you have to make an Instagram. I go, what am I going to do? Post people popping pimples? Like no one, I remember saying this.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Have gross faces? Like no one's going to want to see someone you don't look pretty after a facial. Usually it depends on, for acne.
Yeah.
For dermaplaning or something, you look glowing. Yeah. You look a little beat up in certain facials. No, that's not good advertising. In the beginning of social media, there was it wasn't very authentic, and nor would it was a weird time to be authentic. Everyone was like showing all their, and I just remember as it grew and I got to see like, oh my God, people are leaving red-faced or they're showing pimples being popped. I was on the internet for 2 hours that day. I was like, what? I could watch this. I could watch this all day long. Yeah. So I realized, but that girl literally changed my life because had I not listened to her, like social media, and at the same time I had some big influencers. The show The Bachelor was coming to me.
Yeah.
I don't watch the show. I didn't know a lot of the girls. This is like 9-10 years ago. I knew they were a really big deal. I never just watched it.
I waxed a lot of them at European.
Yeah.
Same thing. But they loved me because I didn't really know who they were. So they got treated the same way as everybody else.
They're so great. Yeah. And I didn't know what was, and I remember the first live I've ever went on was Amanda Stanton, who are great friends now.
Yeah.
I love her. But she goes, we're going live. And I thought live, I don't know what that meant.
Yeah.
And so here she is. I'm live, not knowing I'm live. And I'm behind her. I'm doing her facial and her mask is sitting and we're kind of frenzies. At this point, we're like friends. So I'm doing something. I put some gum in my mouth. If I was on camera, I would have been like, and so she goes, someone just said they were going to put toothpaste on their face. I said, oh, for God's sakes, and I'm just being funny in myself. And she's asking me questions. Now I'm thinking she's typing answers. Because she's doing her thing. And I'm not paying attention. Yeah. And the phones start ringing and people are asking where, and she's like, people are asking what Facial Lounge's website is or whatever. And so I'm talking to her while she's on the thing. And for years, people were like, oh my God, that live was so funny. And I didn't know, like, that day put me on the map. And that's when I was already on Instagram, but live was brand new.
Yeah.
And that show was trending. So the engagement was like crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. So it's interesting.
That's
I
awesome.
single-handedly watched how that day
Yeah.
changed the business. It just did. It was cool.
There's a big lesson in that. It's like taking opportunity as they come and just like doing it, just jumping in and doing it. You never know. It could take that one thing that can change everything.
And I could have said no. And I'm kind of glad I didn't know I was on camera because I might have said no.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you showed up authentically as yourself and then
that's
take it or leave it. What you see is what you get.
Yeah. And I'm all hunched over. You know, I wanted to suck in and look cute. You know? And I was like myself and laughing. And so that moment was a lesson learned because I realized authentic is so important, and 100%. I always wanted to be perfect on camera, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's so much more effort to try to like be perfect in that, and then you have to keep up with the persona once you meet people in real life, and like that's something that we're so big on too. It's just authenticity. What you see is what you get. I'm the same person in person as you're gonna see online.
Yeah. And I have that problem with a lot of the influencers. I have a lot of influencers and TikTok.
You have been so good at that.
So yeah, we do. We have a lot. Well, they don't look the same as their filters.
Yes.
And a lot of them have really bad acting. And so I love trying to make them feel their best self. Like my whole goal is to like, I'm wearing makeup today, but to feel good in your skin and not have, there's so many, I don't really wear makeup. I just don't. I have lashes on and lip gloss and
that's all you need.
And I'm happy. But getting them ready for those moments or seeing people bully like this happened a long time. It's so much better than it used to be for a while, but I had some girls who had really bad skin and looked so pretty on Instagram, and their skin was they just did not look like themselves, and that was hard for them. They hid a lot too. So I think people are being more authentic. I'm watching it change is really cool.
Yeah, it is really changing a lot. That's great. So what's some of we have a few minutes left. I wish we could talk all day. You know I could talk to you all day long. But what are some of your future goals and vision for Facial Lounge?
Well, that's a great question. So we're opening our third location.
No way. Where are your current two? So I
have one in Costa Mesa next to Coffee Dose, which is the cutest place ever. If you've never been, Coffee Dose their coffee is called Anti-Bit Serum.
Yes.
So cute.
Their branding and marketing is like
and they own Sugar and Bronze. Sugar and Bronze. So
Bronze Bunny? No,
Bunny.
Sugar.
Nope, Bronze Bunny.
Is it Bronze Bunny? Okay.
Sorry, I
Awesome.
do that every time. Yeah. They own Bronze Bunny, which literally, their sign on their window, if you drive by, it says, "Friends don't let friends get bikini waxing at nail shops."
Yes, at nail salons.
And I love our nail
I
salons.
love
and I just love they're just so funny. Yeah. So I'm their neighbor in Costa Mesa. I have one in Corona Del Mar across the street from Five Crowns, which is great. Corona Del Mar is where I've been for 24 years. And then this location, Costa Mesa, is almost 2. And then we're working on our third. I'm looking at Dana Point because I have so many great opportunities there. I secretly, intuitively really want Long Beach because I pull a lot from LA. Okay. And so there's a really cool shopping center in Long Beach. That's literally where the 405 and the 605 everything meet. So awesome. I'm really excited. We're going to decide. But our next big thing, my next big project is opening a school.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to have an aesthetic school that's going to be like a holistic. Incredible. Yeah, it's needed so bad. Yes. And as I'm hiring girls and after COVID, watching the schools go down, oh my gosh, I'm like, I just want to help everyone. I even just
needed we're going so hard on education right now. It's needed.
It's needed. So, and I would love it. And I can curate some of the best. You're going to be one of them. Just I want people to come in and put into the people. And it's like mindset and attitude and health and gut health. And there's so many layers. So, for skin, we're like the first commander. So if someone's having skin issues, it's a lot of times health issues. We're not doctors, but we can kind of guide them in the way. There's so many times I've caught people with health issues because of their skin. So I tell people, of course, what you're eating is affecting you. Yeah. So,
And I love how you have that holistic approach and just from inside out. Yeah, it's real. Super, super important. That's really cool. I'm really, really excited for that. Heck yeah. I've always said you need to be doing education. You are the queen, especially with breaking down ingredients and the knowledge and the way you explain it. It's it's understandable and absorbable, and then it's easy to go on and being able to pass that along to clients as well.
It feels so good.
Remember when I used to tell clients to use coconut oil?
Yeah. Well, that
come a little talking to.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because coconut oil is not bad, but I tell people there's some
time
ingredients.
And place.
Time and place. Well, there's also there's also, think of like, I always say skincare is your nutrition, right? So it's almost like drinking coconut oil. Coconut oil is good. It's a healthy, but it doesn't give you enough. If you just drink it all day long, you need water, you need hydration, you need antioxidants. So that's how coconut oil is. It's just and especially with acne, it's not the best, but it's a great oil. It is.
Yeah.
And so, and we were given, it's so hard. And even with TikTok trends, I'm like,
Oh
some of them
my
like,
gosh,
and some of them like,
bet.
wow, I learned I had ADD on TikTok. I was like, who knew? I mean, it's pretty obvious. I did it. But, so I have learned a lot from TikTok, but also there's some trends where I'm like, let's be careful.
Let's get rid of that one. Well, I really appreciate you coming. Again, I wish we could talk just all day
I can do
long,
this
but
anytime you want.
We'll schedule like some lives and stuff. I think diving in, I personally want to start diving in deeper on like ingredients and having more just overall knowledge and stuff. I've been out of like the skincare part for a while. Okay, how can people find and connect with you?
So we are Facial Lounge on Instagram and TikTok, and our website is www.faciallounge.com. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think that's
we're going to
about
have a YouTube channel soon too. I'm working on it, so I want you on that when we're ready.
Awesome.
And I'm also working on a Spotify. So I'm looking for like mind music that really helps. There's some music out there that really helps heal. So I'm going to I have my own playlist. I'm like, I'm going to make one for all my girls.
You are a true visionary. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give Amber a follow. Purchase her skincare. It's incredible. It's so great. I love it. It's my favorite skincare line. And I will see you guys back next week. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and subscribe.